Be honest, when was the last time you really thought about your browser? Most of us don't. We open Chrome or Safari, spin up 30 tabs, switch between accounts, log in and out of Gmail, and just deal with the mess. The truth is, traditional browsers were built for simple browsing. They weren't designed for a world where your browser is basically your operating system. But what if your browser could actually help you work and live better? Not just load websites, but organize your day, reduce distractions, and adapt to how you get things done online. I found a browser that let me completely redesign the experience, from the layout to workflows, and it's completely changed how I work. I partnered with Shift to show you how. Let's dive in. First off, head to the following website if you'd like to follow along and download Shift. You'll find a link right here at the bottom of the screen. It's free to start using. So what exactly is Shift? Well, at first glance, it looks like a regular browser. It's Chromium-based, just like Chrome and Edge, so everything feels familiar. You can install extensions, visit all the same sites, even use your usual keyboard shortcuts. But once you start using it, you quickly realize this isn't just a browser. It's a browser you build. Instead of forcing you into a one-size-fits-all setup like Chrome or Edge, Shift gives you complete control over the layout, the tools, and even how you organize your work and personal life. It's kind of like going from renting a generic apartment to designing your dream forever home. You can start from one of 6 templates built around your work styles, or you could build everything from scratch. And when I say scratch, I mean you can literally customize everything, including where your tabs go, how your tools are laid out, which apps show up where, even the themes of your different spaces. So if your browser feels more like a mess of tabs than an adaptable canvas, Shift gives you something you've probably never had before. A browser that adapts to you, not the other way around. Let's now open up Shift to see firsthand what makes it different. Here I am now in Shift, and what really sets Shift apart is that you can build your own browser. And I'm not talking about just changing the wallpaper. I mean, you can completely redesign the layout, all the toolbars, all the different buttons, even where the tabs appear. You can change all of that. And let me show you how you can do that. In the top right-hand corner, let's click on this settings icon. And right here, you see the option to build your own browser. Let's click on that. At the top, you'll see 4 different tabs. We have templates, bars, controls, and apps. Let's start by choosing a template. Shift gives you a few to pick from, each designed for a different style of work. If you like a clean slate, there's the organizer. Perfect if you want maximum flexibility to build from scratch. Or if you're juggling multiple projects and need quick context switching, the original Shifty pins everything to the sidebar so you can move between spaces and tools effortlessly. There is also the Maverick, which flips the layout with tools pinned to the bottom. Ideal if you want something more flexible and a bit unconventional. And the Creative gives you a focused workspace with a collapsible sidebar with a grid app layout for those Arc users looking for a browser swap. Great when you want minimal distractions, but quick access to the tools when needed. There are other templates too. Once you pick a template, you can fully customize it, move your toolbars, rearrange controls, and drop in the apps you actually use. I think I'll go with the organizer. Over here, let's click on Select Template. Now that we've picked a template, it's time to customize it. Let's start with the bars right up on top. I'll click on this. Here, you can add or move entire toolbars. You simply press on one of the toolbars, and then you can drag it to a new position. The top, the bottom, the sides, wherever it makes the most sense for how you work. This already makes Shift feel less like a typical browser and more like your own personal command center. For example, I don't think I really need the bookmarks bar showing up right now. I like keeping things clean and also minimal. I'll press and hold on bookmarks and then drag it to the center, and that removes it. Of course, I could always re-add it. Simply click on the bar in the center and then drag it to the position where you want it. But actually, I don't need this, so I'll drag it out. I'm also going to remove the spaces bar for now. I'll press and hold on that and drag it to the center. I'll add that back in later once I've set up my layout. Now let's click into controls. And this is where it gets really fun. You can drop in buttons for browser and tab navigation, space switching, bookmarks, even advanced stuff like a custom grid layout. You're not locked into someone else's design. You're building a browser that matches how you think. Let me add the space switcher to the top toolbar. Here, I'll press on this and then drag it up to the top left-hand corner. I don't think I need the forward or back buttons since I rely on keyboard shortcuts and my mouse. So let's remove those to free up some space. I'll simply press on the forward button, and here let's drag it to the center, and then I'll do the same with the back button. And right here I see the carbon meter. I think I'll add that in. That way I can keep an eye on how much carbon my browsing is contributing. I think this looks good now, so right up on top, let's click into apps. This is where Shift really supports your productivity. You can organize all your go-to web apps. Down below, I have apps like YouTube, Instagram, LinkedIn, and you can also add apps like Gmail, Slack, Notion, GitHub, and the list goes on and on. In fact, you can add over 1,500 different apps. That's a lot of apps. In a moment, we'll look at how you can add even more apps. Right up on top, I can drag the apps around in my layout, so that way I can position them exactly where I want them. I can also remove apps. Here I could press and hold and then drag it to the center, and that removes it, just like we saw with the different buttons in the interface. Or here, I can also add an app to my toolbar. Here, I'll drag it up and that places it right there. The beautiful thing here is that there's no digging through tabs. I don't have to type in URLs. It's just one-click access. I could click on this app icon and that launches the app right when I need it. Let's now look at how you can add apps. Down below, let's click on Save. Then up on top, let's click on this plus icon and then add a new app. Here, I see a massive collection of apps that I can add. You might be wondering, what's the difference between a browser tab and an app? In most browsers, tabs are temporary. You open Gmail, you close it, and then it's gone. In Shift, when you add something as an app, it becomes a persistent part of your browser, kind of like pinning it to a dock. Let me add the Gmail app here. I'll search for Gmail, and then let's click on this option. I can choose what space I want to tie this app to. Let me select all. That way I can have my personal Gmail in one space and my work Gmail in another, two completely different accounts that are completely isolated. In a moment, we'll walk through spaces in more detail. Let's now add the app. On top, you can see that I now have one-click access to my Gmail account. And Shift goes a step further. It enhances many apps with features you don't normally get in a browser, like unread badges. Here we see that with Gmail and also with LinkedIn. Some apps like Slack and Asana don't normally show notification indicators in a tab, but in Shift, you'll see a red badge whenever something needs your attention. Whether you're juggling accounts or just want a more organized workflow, Shift app makes it easy to stay focused and stay in control. The best part? You don't have to build everything from scratch. Simply pick a template, make a few tweaks, and you'll still end up with a browser that feels completely your own. No extensions, no hacks needed. Just drag, drop, and you're all done. Now, let's talk about one of my favorite features in Shift, spaces. Spaces are like dedicated zones inside your browser, kind of like profiles, but way smarter and far easier to manage. You can create a space for anything, personal, work, a side hustle, client project, even something like shopping or entertainment. Each space has its own apps, theme, and most importantly, its own sign-ins. Let me show you. Right over here, you can click on the plus icon to add a new space. I've already added 3 different spaces, one for my work at the Kevin Cookie Company, one for my personal projects, and one for demos. I can right-click on the space to edit. I'll right-click on the Kevin Cookie Company, and let's edit this. Right at the top, I could assign a name, a color, and decide whether I want to see notification badges. This is basically an aggregation of all the unread badge counts for all the apps within this space. Down below, I can also assign apps. I can set a theme and an icon. This way it's easy to tell apart. Then let's click on Save. Now I have multiple completely separate environments. My workspace where I'm signed in with my work email and my personal space where I use my personal Gmail and apps. Now watch what happens when I switch between them. One click and I'm looking at my personal inbox. Another click and now I'm instantly in my work email. No logging in and out, no incognito windows, no session mix-ups. Behind the scenes, Shift keeps cookies and account data separate for each space, so there's no crossover between logins or apps. Now, honestly, this is a game changer if you manage multiple accounts. Let's say you're a freelancer, maybe a social media manager, or just someone trying to keep your work and life separate. Let's talk about something you don't usually see in a browser. Shift has a built-in carbon meter. As you browse the web, Shift estimates the carbon footprint of your digital activity and then offsets it quarterly on your behalf. It tracks the data transferred between your device and the services you use, estimates the associated emissions, and shows your impact in real time, all using a model backed by open source research and UN data. And here's the key part. Shift takes full responsibility for that footprint. They partner with vetted environmental groups to offset 100% of the emissions generated by users. No effort required on your end. You get to browse the way you normally do, while knowing it's mitigating the impact on the environment. I've been using Shift for a few weeks now, and here's how I've set mine up. I have a personal space for email, shopping, and social media, a workspace with Gmail, YouTube, and Trello, and also a demo space I use when showcasing different apps and websites and videos. Each space has its own theme, that way I always know exactly where I am. And with unread badges and app grouping, I don't waste time hunting down the things that need my attention. It's all surfaced right where I need it. This isn't for someone who only opens 3 tabs and checks the news once a day. Shift is for digital power users. So think freelancers juggling multiple clients, remote workers where you're trying to manage your work and personal boundaries, creators, devs, productivity nerds. If that's you, this browser will feel like it was made just for you because it can be made by you. Shift is free for up to 2 spaces and 5 apps per space. If you want more, like additional spaces or heavy-duty workflows, there's a paid tier. But the free version gives you a solid taste of what's possible. Most people don't think they need a new browser, but most people are also frustrated with too many tabs, switching accounts, endless distractions, and app overload. Shift solves that, not by reinventing the web, but by letting you design how you experience it. If you want to try it out, I've included a custom link right down below where you could download my personal template and start building your own. Give it a spin and let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Now, go build your browser.